Twitch is a very well-run website, and all women on the platform are well protected and treated with respect. Nobody. I've got a fun question for you. How many times have you seen the word harassment used when detailing online discussions recently? The creator was harassed, or this creator received harassment in their comments. Like, the way we talk about online debates right now seems to rely on that word to do a lot of the heavy lifting. And I think the definition is starting to get watered down. Like, if I get one solitary rude comment, I don't consider that me being harassed. It's really just one more thing that I get to think about whenever I try to go to sleep at night. Harassment, like real harassment, is repeated, constant, hostile comments just being thrown at someone. A word like that can't really be sugar-coated. Like, we have to mean what we say when we use it. Despite that word being overused in a lot of discussions, I don't see it used enough where it's applicable, specifically with women on Twitch. It's got a W in the chat for women. Now, some people might argue that I don't have any grounds to chime in here because I don't stream on Twitch and I'm not a woman, despite what some comments might say. And of course, I don't mean to be speaking for anybody here, but even as a guy with no Twitch presence, I still witness all of the harassment that women have to go through. I think everybody knows by now that Twitch is a much easier place to create content in comfort if you're a man. Anybody else, even if you just look like a woman, have to deal with the harassment that comes with it. And I know that statement alone probably has some people raising their shields and typing out an argument, but let me explain to you why I see Twitch this way. The original intention for Twitch was to be a gaming website. You play a video game while broadcasting it, people get to tune in and chat together while watching the moment play out in real time. And it makes sense why that caught on, because streaming in general is a very cool and comforting concept. In these past few years, with all the repeated lockdowns we've all been going through, we've been craving connection while stuck indoors, and a lot of streams have become more like social events, and ones that don't even require gaming. Younger generations, the ones robbed of a unique social life, really gravitated towards these social streams, and the genre blew up. Now, Twitch is well known for a variety of different streams, and the site was smart to support all of these new kinds of creators. Twitch is often considered a rival to YouTube. Lots of creators have a space on both platforms to grow their careers, but whereas YouTube can be visited anytime, Twitch is live and time-specific. Moment to moment, the demand for Twitch is far higher. This is how I understand why Twitch is now a living social hub, hosting scores of audiences all seeking different types of entertainment. It all makes sense to me. What does not make sense to me is how the system leads to women suffering. Fair disclaimer, this story does touch on heavy subjects, and while I'm going to be doing my best to avoid some of the heavier details, if you're not in the mood for this kind of thing, you can leave and come back if you ever want, but if not, that's okay. Trust your gut, and we're good here. The streamer Amouranth, real name Caitlin, is a Twitch model, which means that a lot of her content is based around selling herself, her body, for attention. Do we all know what I'm talking about? The performances of being a Twitch model involve a lot of suggestive activities or light clothing. I'm trying not to get banned. These Twitch models make a lot of their money from people donating to them during the streams, and in return they pay them back with attention or affection. And to me, that's a pretty balanced ecosystem because it's a win-win for both parties and nobody's getting hurt. It's a better economy than what America has. Caitlin is a top earner in this field, and that means a lot. This genre pulls in a lot of money, but she is making millions upon millions each year. She's kind of seen as one of the big faces of this world, but that is not unanimously a good thing. A lot of people just don't like the idea that women can show skin and get paid for it. They view it as exploitative or scummy or like a scam, and to me, those seem like very elementary grade complaints to have for an economy that clearly has an audience, but it's their opinion. To recap, a lot of people like Twitch models, and a lot of people really dislike them. That's the world we live in. Yes, they can have boobs, but how dare they try to make money off of them? Do I have that right? Anyway, this is when the story comes in. Caitlin recently revealed through a live, unsilenced phone call that her entire presence is being micromanaged by her spouse. The call occurred because of a misunderstanding between the two, and his rage made it apparent that this dynamic was not an equal decision. This call included a lot of familiar tropes of abuse, including icy and condescending tones, him hammering down insults, and threatening to cut her off from her banks and social medias. It's textbook manipulation and controlling behavior. This meant that, as far as we knew, her entire career, the pictures, the streams, everything to entice attention, was being controlled by this guy behind the scenes. He was pushing her to continue this business so they would both make money, and then he was using that money to control her. It seemed like she had very little autonomy over any decision in her public life. Thankfully, this story does have a happy ending. After a brief window following the exposed call, Caitlyn streamed an update saying that she had separated from her spouse, he was seeking help, and she had gotten all of her passwords and bank information returned to her, and she was now back in control of her life. It's heartbreaking to know that she was living through that pain, but it is good news that she is freed, and she has had control of her life returned to her, and the overwhelming amount of support that we saw during this really affirms the fact that she is welcomed and safe. Here, though, is when we see that vocal group that dislikes Amouranth come together and actually celebrate the idea of her being tortured. We saw a collective of accounts assemble, mostly ones with profile pictures of Squidward or some football player or a bald dad fishing. They called her a scammer, they accused her of lying, they diminished the abuse that she'd gone through, and they just seemed happy at the idea that we'd caught her, she'd been exposed. Amouranth had been giving online men attention under the pretense that she was single, and this call revealed that she had a husband, and so a lot of people thought that was the main thing to focus on. It actually takes 1 second of critical thinking to see that all of the reasons these people hated Amouranth for were being orchestrated by her husband. They're not really mad at her, they're mad at him. But it's much easier for them to justify this by hating the woman, so oh well. To me, the story is very simple. A victim exposed their abuser while live and was able to get help. That's the core of it, and that should be celebrated. And I don't really think it's good that a lot of people are filtering that through their opinions of the person and the job they have. Her having an exposed secret husband doesn't change the fact that she gave the men what they paid for. That loop is closed. That argument there is worthless. Even if she decides to continue running her business in this way on her own terms, the fact is that it's on her terms. That's what matters. And it does not justify any of the abuse she had to get through in order to be here. Let's play along with the comments who are saying this is a scam or this was all orchestrated for attention. The phone call on the live stream was all acted, and now she's getting a lot of attention and money, and people like me defending her fell for it. So fucking what? In that worst case scenario, she makes some extra money by lying. And if you want to try and compare that to the worst case scenario on if she's telling the truth, well then I don't really know what to tell you. People would rather assume a woman masterminded an entire career of selling herself and then enact an elaborate expose for attention, all before they admit this woman just might have been in danger and actually needed help. Even if you don't like Amouranth, maybe her business annoys you, maybe she was rude to you once, maybe she just looks like a kid you once knew who called you names, none of that is relevant. You can dislike someone and still show empathy when they need help. This culture of people feeling entitled to say whatever they want to women on Twitch led to a very insensitive reaction to a terrifying real-world threat. And I don't think that's okay in any regard. This woman was asking her audience, really anybody who was listening, for help. And people took that and still decided that it was all part of a scam and she wasn't worth helping. Like, even that was not enough for some people. And I think you can trace that insensitivity back to how Twitch streams are run, how creators are encouraged by these platforms to interact with their audience, and the lack of policing and protection that these sites are willing to give to individual creators. Hi, I thought of one more thing to mention, so I'm going to talk a little bit longer. When talking about women on Twitch in danger or getting hurt, you have to bring up Adriana and Twitchcon. But in order to talk about Adriana, I have to be careful about my word choice because not only is she a Twitch streamer, she's also a adult entertainment videographer. We're gonna say prom. She's a prom star. She appears in promography. While at TwitchCon, an event run as professionally as the site itself, Adriana jumped into a foam pit that was hosted by one of the sponsors of the... Please stop that video. I don't want to watch it. Except the foam pit wasn't really a pit at all. It was a simple layer of 1 to 2 foam blocks separating the podium from pure concrete. More of a death trap than a fun time. So Adriana jumps in, and the impact of her landing on that little foam going straight to the concrete ends up sending her to the hospital where there are 2 breaks confirmed. And if you're familiar with back injuries even a little bit, you know that just the slightest fracture can cause you a lifetime of pain. So this was absolutely nothing to scoff at. Following that accident, she was tweeting about being unable to sit up on her own, needing help to go to the bathroom. Just horrifying stuff. You know that it's going to impact her for the rest of her life. So naturally, a lot of people came together to joke about it. As stated, Adriana is a prom star, so a lot of people were referring to her injury as her getting her back blown out, which is both a term for sustaining a back injury and a certain spicy move in the bedroom. I don't know what it means exactly. I'm still a Virgo. Just Google it. Or don't. Additionally, in another tweet of hers, she mentioned that she's going to need surgery to insert a metal rod in her spine, and it made the 8th grade boys in the back of the classroom just giggle and wet their pants. A rod inserted inside you? This shit would kill on SNL. But good news, Adriana is able to joke about the situation as well, showing that she's at least maintaining high spirits. She even made a spicy joke herself, penning in a tweet, "Hopefully I'll be able to pee again in the near future. No more probably." And you might say that makes it okay, but I would argue that men joking about Adriana's injury versus Adriana joking about her injury is that Adriana had the injury. Adriana being able to poke fun at her situation is an example of actual dark, edgy humor, whereas the boys are really just off to the side doing word association. And it bothers me because in all these jokes and in all the headlines reporting on this situation, she is classified as a Twitch streamer and prom star. She's not being viewed as a human who was irrevocably injured at a convention due to negligence on many parts. She's being viewed as a vehicle for a punchline. Oh, the prom star gets sent to the hospital after a bad night. Where is your shame? And you know that if this was a man, streamer and prom star, who got injured at this event, this would not be as big a deal as it is, but her being a woman plays a giant role in this. Look, in the end, if Adriana says it's okay to joke about it, then it's fine. And her being able to make jokes herself is a pretty good sign that she's okay with laughing at the whole thing. But for those of you who did not wait to see if she was okay and within mere minutes of her being injured were rushing to comedy night trying to do your best stand-up, you're scum. And we saw all of it. Twitch's lack of personal protections means that these streamers are going to be treated as commodities, both on and off their streams. If you can say whatever you want about someone in the chat room of their stream, it implies you have the privilege to say whatever you want about them in real life as well. If there's nothing stopping it from happening online, what is going to stop them from doing it in person, which ends up affecting them, even in response to a life-altering injury like this? That's not the reaction we want people to be having. I'll admit, I am worried that the lack of empathy that is being fostered in these unfiltered online discussions is going to continue to leak into real-world tragedies. It sets a bad example, and not even that, a dangerous one, and I don't think it's okay to just let that continue. Please be nice to others online. It's a good thing to do, and if you don't do it, I might fucking snap. Alright, you've heard me talk about the problems. I think it's time to hear about some solutions. And unfortunately, it's where we get to the hard part. I've been approaching this from the lens of ethics. You should be trying to protect people who are targeted on your platform. The issue is that Twitch, and really all companies, are motivated by profit. And I don't really have exact solutions that Twitch can enforce because I'm one idiot in an apartment and Twitch is a massive company. And if they want to make any kind of move, it's going to cost them. I do have some half solutions that I can just fire off from the top of my head, but they're probably not going to be great. Maybe extreme harassment can be fined by the creator. Like, most Twitch users have a payment system set up on their profile. Maybe if there's a lot of moderation, there can be like a monetary fine. I don't know, that could get bad quick. Maybe Twitch streamers could flag specific people who were harassing them. So if they show up in a different community, there's already a little flag that the streamer can see. Maybe like a visible red flag. Maybe we just need Twitch itself to host more reminders on the site that harassment is punishable. I don't love fear being a motivator, but it's effective in extreme cases. But no, I don't think Twitch is going to do any of that, and I don't think it wants to. If they wanted to do it, they would have already, and the site would already be a safer place for streamers, no matter what gender. The truth is that we can't rely on faceless companies like Twitch to protect people all the time. And I think the most available option is for us, as a support system, to step up whenever we see this happening to protect the people we like. This could mean reporting any post you see that is specifically targeting a creator. The report tweet button is there for a reason. This is us just exercising that right. That buddy's been my best friend. I've reported every bad tweet you've seen in this video. Maybe you could show extra support to any non-male streamer you find, especially the smaller ones who are more of a target for overwhelming harassment. I found it's very easy to push back against those messages by just popping into the chat and telling them that they're weird or they're in the wrong for doing so. Usually that kind of pressure pushes them away fairly easily. This is the kind of thing where, yeah, you might have to get involved, but being an active supporter is usually what's going to help the most. I know it's not the easy answer we all hoped for. It's not like Twitch can just come in and fix this. And I do hope that women, streamers or not, are able to experience less harassment from people as we continue to grow and at least have conversations about this. And I feel like by stepping up and by being a present and active supporter, we might be on the right path to that. And between you and me, I'll admit it's hard. I haven't been the best at looking into these things and acting on them in a timely manner. When I first heard about Amouranth, I thought people were mispronouncing the name Amouranth, the Pokemon, and I was like, Amouranth is being harassed for hot tub streams? I didn't know that was possible for them, and I didn't look any more into it. That's stupid. Why would that be what was happening? I am not smart. Hello and welcome to the end of the video. I appreciate you watching my work at all, but especially if you got to the end here. Thank you very much. Not to toot my own horn, but I think I have a lot of really cool video ideas for the next couple of uploads, so I'm hopeful you stick around and you find out what I'm doing in all my spare time. I need to make that sound cooler. Anyways, if you feel like supporting me and the channel a little bit more, you can like the video, subscribe, or donate on Patreon to get your name tattooed on the video like all these cool people did. Alright, new videos soon, new streams soon, so turn on notifications to catch those, and I will see you all very soon. Take care of yourselves and others. I love you lots, and goodbye.